I got a question for Serge.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah,
you
ask
know,
me.
you've been doing a lot of gigs, similar gigs in different areas since I've known you. A lot of open format, leaning hip hop. You know, we went to Miami to study for Fireproof, and I know that you were really excited about it. We went to Baoli to check out their music concepts, and then you started doing a lot of your own music research for Fireproof, and you started
Hmm.
putting it together. Talk about how nice it has been to switch it up and play like deep house and like you know and going again away from your normal open format sets.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like challenges. So any genre I can dig into and learn more about, and challenge myself to make a different playlist or any ways to like spice up a set. I do those kind of mixers are like 80s, um, the Fleetwood Macs, the Luther Vandross is like over, an up tempo beat where uh, disco, all that stuff. You don't hear that stuff anywhere anymore. You know, when somebody walks in, I want them to be, for we have an older clientele there, that eat there and they probably want, oh, wow, this is refreshing. You don't go to you don't go to different bars and hear 70s anymore. You just don't, it don't exist. So I just felt it was something to challenge myself again and actually to find stuff like that with not just originals, but more of I would say like a dinner club vibe, if you want to
For
say.
sure.
It's been awesome to see like people just kind of bouncing around, eating. A couple people will get up and dance occasionally,
Yeah.
and then I remember you saying we've always taken our DJs over there to eat before they come over to Dahlia to play. And I remember you saying how DJ Vice was in there eating, and he came up to you and he was just like, "Look, man, like I really respect what you were playing. Like the library that you were playing was like next level." That's got to feel good when somebody
Oh
acknowledges
yeah,
the work that you're putting in.
absolutely. I mean, a lot of people look up to him too as like, you know,
Oh yeah.
the club guy right now. Is like open format. Obviously, does everything too, but he's another guy that he can take you through every genre. He can. I like to say musical journeys. You like to take those people all over the place and make their night unforgettable. You know.
One thing that I know when I've been to Fireproof, it's almost like you're known. Like I think some of the customers who come there often kind of know you for playing like this really dope Game of Thrones remix, which I get excited about when you play. And it seems like you play it like a decent amount there. So props for that. And if you guys haven't checked it out, check out Surge at
Thank
Fireproof.
you.
But I want to go a little bit deeper, man, because I know how hard you guys studied, where you went to kind of come up with that theme. So what restaurants did you guys look at, and then how did you take what you guys got from them and then bring it to Columbus? Because it's not the same. Like the places you guys were going in
It's not.
Miami and
It's
Vegas,
not.
it's not the same. You guys had to kind of make it Columbus. Tell us about that process if you could, please.
Well, the only place that we really went to was Bioli, James, right? Like that
Yeah,
was the only place, like the dinner spot that we were looking at.
but we were going there not just for the music. We did pick off some musical ideas from that, but it was more also just their small plates and like the vibe in general. Um,
Oh,
but like you said, I'll let Serge speak on it. But Fireproof had adapted to Columbus.
Yeah, I mean when you bring a new concept like that, it's you go to Chicago, you go to New York, you go to Miami, like these dinner clubs exist. You know, we're not we're trying to stay with them as far as the music, but you got to like kind of spin it to, like I said, our 70s, our 80s, and kind of appeal it more to the crowd that you see in there. Sometimes you have to switch it up. It's not going to always be 100% the set in stone, you know, like I'm only going to play this song this night and this is all I'm going to play, you know. You have to go with what's there. It isn't just, hey, this is what I'm going to do.
Actually, you guys, Brian, you mentioned like COVID through the through talking about Ohio State and bringing football back. I wanted to talk about that a little bit more. We asked if like kind of in the middle of quarantine with Ginsu and someone else who I forget, I think Leak, were they wearing masks at their shows? And we talked about, were they going to wear masks? And, you know, we talked about some yes, some no. Now that we're in the reopening, we see some of these cases going up in some places. Are you guys wearing masks at your gig? And why? Why yes or why no?
Serge, you want to go first?
Let's go with
or whatever you guys want.
Brian, no, you started it, go. You got to go now.
No, okay. Well, because I don't have sports, I really don't have any gigs. I have my first wedding is next month. But yeah, I plan on wearing a mask. I mean, I have, you know, I created a logo mask that I can wear, and for Ohio State, I have an Ohio State mask, and jackets, I have a jackets mask. Like, so I try to customize it for the gig. And I mean, just going out, yeah, I mean, at the grocery store, I wear a mask. I mean, I take it pretty seriously still.
And do you have a plan for like when you are back at weddings, you know, passing the mic from here to there, or have you given any thought to like how you're going to handle that?
I haven't put too much thought into it, but I do know, like I have some friends that host like karaoke night. They have, you know, these cheap mic covers that are very disposable, and I mean they're very affordable. So that's kind of the plan, is to get some disposable mic covers, pass them to person, I guess. Wipe off the mic in between.
That's good idea.
James, what do you got going on? Like, what's happening at Dahlia on the weekends? I know most staff are wearing masks. How are DJs wearing masks? What's going on?
Yeah, all the staff's wearing masks. The DJs have been wearing masks, but I started using the mic a lot more, and it is very hard to talk into a mic with a mic with the mask on. So sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off, but for the most part, all the staff is wearing masks. Not so much our customers, but that's an option. Of course, they can wear masks, but yeah, man, I just like Brian. When I go to the grocery store, when I go out anywhere, I always have it on me. I'm always wearing it. I think it's going to be normal for a long time. At first, I was a little uncomfortable with it because, you know, I just never wore a mask out. But then I realized how serious it was, and I did my research on, you know, how it's exactly spreading is, you know, the nasal and mouth, the sneezing, the coughing and stuff. So, you know, the gloves are different. I have a different opinion on the gloves. I think washing your hands is very important. I'm not going to go wear gloves everywhere, but I think the mask is like a automatic.
Have you heard of people wearing gloves? That's new to me. Or are you guys hearing that, like between DJs who maybe play back to back or switch up, or people wearing gloves? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I haven't heard any.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. Serge, what about you?
I don't wear a mask.
Cool.
I mean, in the booth, our booth's already social distancing as enough.
Yeah.
DVR social distancing, fireproof. I mean, there's nobody around me anyways.
That's true. The Dahlia one is the only one that would be near a bunch of people.
Are they selling that VIP space still?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They have it set up. They have the whole venue set up to be they have the glass walls, or whatever that glass is, tempered glass, and then they have all the tables either 6 feet away, or they have the dividers. So it's pretty nice.
James. Yeah, James, I had a similar experience to you, man. I was at Food Hall this past Saturday, and, you know, walked in with the mask, you know, doing my thing. I don't find them too uncomfortable, at least the one that I have. And then, you know, drink one, take the mask off, have your drink, put the mask back on. Drink two, take the mask off, have your drink, put it back on. Drink three, mask off, and it didn't go back on. And I talked to one of my physician friends who's like really studying up on this. Like all she does is, you know, post data from stuff. And so I had a conversation with her like, yo, I can't be the only one who's experiencing this. Like, I understand that, you know, taking off masks is dangerous, whatever. But like, what do you suggest? And she just said to wear it as much as possible. And I think with the industry that we're in, COVID hits DJs the hardest. We're gonna, you know, when they shut down, we were like the last to open up. We just got dancing back a week and a half ago. So that's where I'm at in my mindset. Just like, I don't want this to go away again. So if they say that, and, you know, I'm fairly into conspiracies as well, but if, you know, the status quo is, hey, if 80% of people wear masks, this goes away, I can subscribe to that and try my best, right? I still think drinking with the mask is annoying, but I just wanted to get everyone's opinion and hear different, just for different opinions on it, because stuff's everywhere, man. The information's all over the place. It's my favorite segment time. We call this tips for listeners. I'm really adamant about it being like something that DJs haven't heard before, right? So everyone knows, you know, to practice, everyone knows to be professional. You know, you guys have almost 40 years in the game between you. I want to hear some tips that maybe DJs haven't heard before. They don't get enough light. And Brian, can we go to you first? Just tips for DJs that they haven't heard before.
Yeah, I mean, as far as you're 12 episodes in now, I'm trying to think of
Good
things
luck.
that haven't already been said. But I mean, I would say for me, my biggest mistake younger is having a bit of an ego. Maybe I wasn't cocky per se, but as far as like, hey, you know, I've got a set that I'm playing. I don't want to hear any requests, you know, especially starting out. It's listen to your crowd. That's how you understand what they want. I mean, until you're good enough to really read the crowd, you know, you need to listen to them a little bit and take requests as it's not about you. It's, you know, about the crowd, and be able to adjust appropriately. I mean, just lose the ego is my biggest thing. I know a lot of starting out DJs that kind of think they're top stuff, and they have a lot to learn.
So I'm gonna push you a little bit more, because we have had some people say, you know, to not have an ego at the beginning, but maybe you mentioned reading the room. What are you actually looking for when you say read the room? Because read the room is like a big, like, it means all this stuff. So what are you actually looking for when you read the room?
Well, I'm kind of looking for, you know, demographics, age, that type of stuff, but also, you know, what are they dancing to and what are they not? As I you know, play a track that I think is going to work, and for some reason, you know, half the crowd isn't digging it, I got to dump in, you know, I got to adjust and find something that I think will work. And then once you find kind of that sweet spot, I mean, you still got to be able to adjust throughout the night, but you kind of know what crowds, you know, what sections want to hear what type of music, and then other people want to hear a different type. I mean, that's kind of how I read it as.
Cool. Krupp, you happy with that?
Yeah, I would say, like, you know, the whole ego thing goes along with, like, just if you're an up and coming DJ, especially a younger DJ, you should not be stubborn about anything, whether it's taking requests, reading, opening up your library, or taking advice from another DJ. Just don't have an ego to any of that stuff, because I've been humbled many times sometimes I still am, you know, and I love it. Like, that's part of the journey for me, is like, I don't want to say I like being wrong, because that's definitely not it, but I like just knowing that, like, as soon as I think I have something figured out, somebody's checks me, and I love that.
That magic's good for that.
To go on to that, also, as far as, like, you know, don't feel like you've already peaked at, like, how good you're going to get. Like, I remember getting my first subscription to, like, Funky Mix. I was like, oh, this is the magic pill. Like, this is perfect. And then, like, I think it was back-to-back weekends. I don't know if you've heard of him, but DJ Indiana Jones was somebody I looked up to in the Indianapolis scene, and he wrote on my clipboard, like, I had a request list that hung from the back of my DJ booth. He just said, you know, keep practicing. And then Paul Bunyan wrote, like, you know, learn to mix. And I was like, shit. So
Not the most constructive.
No, but you know, they're right. They're right. I thought I was good. I mean, granted, I was DJing at the only dance club on campus, so like it was sold out every night. I was like, when I started, I was the only 18-year-old on campus that could even go to the bar, and so I thought I was, you know, cock diesel, and all of a sudden I'm just getting hammered. I'm like, yeah, you need.
That's
you
good
need to
that you
be
took that criticism, though, man. You know, you took it and spun it. But those funky mixes, man, and X mixes were gold. We talked to Gonzo a little bit about that.
Yeah, we did.
I waited for those every month, man.
Dude, I used them all. I abused them.
Mm-hmm.
How about you,
All right,
Serge?
Serge. Tips for listeners, bud.
What's that?
Tips for listeners.
I would say one of my tips is probably try to stay. I use my prepare bin a lot. All right. If you're using Serato, I think it's an essential that you use that. It's kind of like pulling the records out back in the day. You know, you used to turn around and pull the records out, kind of like knowing where you want to go with it. And I would also say, be 3 songs ahead, be 3 steps ahead of what you want to do. Write your story, you know, like Brian's talking about switching up the music and knowing your crowd and what you want to do. And I also think that goes along with staying 3 songs ahead. If you're going to play song A, you know, you want to go A, B, C, but now how you going to get there, right? To make it make sense to what you're looking at. So, you know, I would say try to stay 3 songs ahead, knowing what you're going to do. Make sense of what you're doing.
That makes a lot of sense too. If you're going to be doing a lot of quick transitions, you know, you want to make sure that you know how to find your music quickly, and just like you said, if you're telling a story and you're going to go all over the place, BPM and genre, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I always say you don't even have to mix. You know, you can be a great DJ and don't even mix any song. But if you play the right songs at any point in the night, you know, that's what everyone's going to remember. You know, going back to people don't even know what you're doing up there. You know, you slam every single song, but it's at the right time at the right time and at the right point every night. You're good. You know, no one's going to look any differently on you.
Yes, Serge. That's good. I don't think anyone's mentioned the prepare kit or staying 3 songs ahead. I want to ask you though, when you use the prepare kit, different DJs do it different ways, right? So some people, they'll be in their folders, might see a song, they'll look out at the crowd and say, okay, not yet, and then they'll drag it in the prepare folder and they'll kind of build a list that way. And then I know other DJs that will, you know, maybe they have a playlist which is like must plays, and it's maybe a list of like the 20 hottest songs right now, and you know, they'll go into that, and first thing in the night they'll take that must plays and they'll hit them in the prepare folder so they don't miss any. Do you have a preference on which way you use, or is it just fluid?
Mine's fluid. I don't have any must plays or this needs to be played ASAP or these are the hits or whatever. It's all on the top of my head. You know, like I'll look at the crowd, see what I want to do, and then prepare. So it just goes start like that, and then I'll knock them down one by one. You know, and if I leave some songs up there, so what? Maybe that's another starting point for another set later in the night. If not, then I don't use it.
Sure.
You know,
and that's something I meant to go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's something I wanted to mention when I was introing you, but I think Krupp took care of it, is that you were probably one of the fastest mixers easily in Columbus and probably in the region that I know of, just with respect to like how long you keep a song in. Krupp, would you agree with that? Am I crazy?
Yeah, no, I don't know, because I don't know all the DJs, but definitely in Columbus, I learned that from you. I mean, you taught me how to quick transition with proper set flow. I think that's important too. You know, you don't want to just be quick and making, you know, you can make some super short edits too. There's a lot that I've learned from Surge, especially with, and I've learned a lot of non-tech stuff from Surge as well, is how savvy and aware I have to be of how quickly music evolves. I think that's really important to understand is people's attention span is short in the club and it's short outside the club. And the music's constantly changing. So, you know, yeah, like you said, we might have some crappy new releases that we have to download. But the next week, there could be 2 that are going to stay for the next year, you know?
Yeah.
You just have to be ready.
Actually, I want to stay with Surge. I forget, I think it was Gonzo was mentioned. No, maybe Bombay mentioned it last week, that you have some of the best edits in the game. And I can say that as well, man. I'm not going to say who gave it to me, but I copped a version of your Make It Bounce Surge edit. And so I have that. I play it all the time. I know I would love some more. The DJs last week mentioned that. You used to sell your edits, man. All right, I know you got away from it. Is there a reason? Is there a place that you put those? And maybe like your reasoning behind not putting them out?
Yeah, I put them in my computer and my computer only. and this just goes back to back in the day when I was doing it, there was vinyl still being pressed, right? And people were still doing turntables. People were still, Serato was fairly new. Where people, it wasn't accessible. But now with everything so accessible and you can play like how I play, we all have the same music, you know, we're all playing the same kind of music. But if I can have something that sets me apart from other people, I'll gladly take that into my night, knowing that I have that piece, you know, as far as, you know, like the Conga Shake, remember that? That was like a monster mashup that Steve Wonder did. I think it was Steve Wonder. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The
Was it on Kirkland Clan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's called it's basically Gloria Estefan over the Kulo beat, right?
Right.
And like that was like
that was a big one.
Everybody had that, and that was one of, you know, was talking to him as like that was one of his most secret weapons, and I think that was like one of the highest selling mashups ever sold on when that site was around. And he, you know, one of the things he said was he just stopped selling it because something that was probably so big for him and it worked so well at all these clubs he was playing in Vegas, and now hundreds of people get to use this edit, right? So they're not going to say, oh, that was the DJ Surge edit. No one's going to say that, you know? They're going to say, oh, no, Corrupt played it or Mike Sloan played it, you know? And it's no longer associated with me. I mean, I've had people say, play that one No Diggity mix or something. Well, they can't go to any other place and ask for that, you know? I did it. Like, that's the only way you're going to hear it. And you kind of want that nostalgia for yourself, you know? It has nothing to do with hiding it. I mean, though, I can share edits all day. I mean, short edits, whatever. But as far as like taking something that you make, and some of the edits that you make, only you know how to use them, right?
Right.
And if I give them to you, you misuse them. And I always say they're tools and they're not rules. You don't play these as songs. They're supposed to be tools to get you. Maybe you need a little shake up sometimes, or this energetic mix you need, or whatever it may be, and you go from there. But you don't play it. Some stuff you just can't play every night. You can't play this stuff every night. It has to be the right time, you know. Is the crowd ready for it? You know, like you were talking about the Game of Thrones. Like, I don't play that every night, you know. I don't think you can. People walk in there and they expect it, but I don't want them expecting it. I want them taking like, whoa, what was that, right?
Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
I think that one of the key things you said is everything is very accessible. A lot of the top edits on these music sites, everyone's playing, so it's great to have your own edits. But I think there's also two sides of this, because I know I keep a lot of my own edits for myself as well, just like he does. But I also release edits for people to use, or I'll use up an edit to where maybe it's time that I'm comfortable with releasing it. You know what I mean? So like there's ways that you can get your name out there and still share edits to still give something without taking away of your
And
creative.
that's what I was saying. Like at the end of the day, I can still give out edits, because there's going to be personal stuff that I will only know how to use and that will make sense to me. But if I gave it to you, it wouldn't be used in the right manner that my mind works in trying to present that
right. Why you made the edit in the first place.
Exactly. Right.
No, that's true.
And go ahead, James.
No, I was just gonna ask. Did you sell your edits on like Crack for DJs? Did you get on Kirkland Clan? How'd you get yourself?
I did, and then it wasn't even worth the time anymore, man.
Yeah. We can do do we have any 614 releases or?
Yeah, actually, you might have the 614 release if I remember correctly.
Yeah, my EP comes out tomorrow. It's been a long time coming.
You're having the launch party at Dahlia for Activated. Yep. When do you play?
I'm not even kidding. I think we have 15 DJs playing at Dahlia tomorrow between the patio, Mike's playing. And it's going to be really cool, man. There's going to be house music. I think they're doing more of like a tropical and tech house feel on the patio, and then inside it's going to be more of like a bass-driven house, maybe some future house. But yeah, it's just, I got a 3-song EP releasing that I worked on during the break. I could have released it earlier, but what was the point? I wanted to wait till we got back. But yeah, I'm excited. It's the EP's called Reborn. It's essentially just describes my finding and new sound design and new experimenting with bass house, and hope you guys like it. And then Chris Gonzo just asked Surge, where's the chicken scratch vinyl at? And
then on rounding us out for the 614 releases, we had Stardust by Intel. I think he's released a track the last 3 weeks. Again, you guys, I say it almost every episode, big fan of Intel. The show supports him as much as we can. So again, he released Stardust on Spotify. Oh, corrupt, I meant to ask, where are you putting Reborn out at? And was there any strategy that between the release? I know this is E-Force weekend, we talked about that, but now that you don't have that, was there any strategy behind the release and how you're doing it?
Yeah, so essentially the release was supposed to go with Forest. That was the original plan, but it didn't work out. But it's going to be worldwide on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, all those. And then it's got early support from David Guetta, Afrojack.
Huge.
Nice.
And who was the other one? I don't know how to say his name. It's Wyvez. Mm-hmm. But yeah. It's I'll post the link all over my social media tomorrow where you can listen and download. So
I think there's a delay coming through. So as soon as I think you're finished talking, I'm
my
talking
bad.
and I hear you talk. No, it's not your fault. But I'm saying, of course I lost my train of thought. Oh, I asked Intel on the show before, what's the best way to support his music? And I'm gonna ask you the same question. What's your dream? If everyone who's your friend who wants to support you, what do they do? Do they like the video? Do they add it to their Spotify playlist? Do they share it to their Twitter? What's the best way to help you out with regards to your EP?
Yeah, so not all of my production is going to be something that you can just play on the clubby weekend. So I understand some DJs, it's just like when you go to a music site and you look through stuff that you may or may not use. But as I look at how my friends support me. They add my song on Spotify. They add them to their playlists. They'll go check it out and they'll go get it on Beatport. And then if anything else is sharing it to their Facebook, my friend just put out this new EP, check it out. Or I'll even take constructive criticism because everybody looks for something different in people's music, but I'll be happy to take feedback. You know me.
What gives you a better percentage, Beatport or iTunes?
I don't
of
even
money?
know, man. I'll be honest with you. I signed it to a label, so there's where
I'm
What does
glad
that
you told
mean
us that.
for people like me? What does that mean?
It just means like some of my oldest production tracks, for example, like My Type, Roar,
Mhm.
some of those older tracks, I didn't see money for 2 years.
Oh,
So it takes a while not only to build the sales up, but usually labels get, 80% at least, depending on who you sell it with. Now, the way you can make really good money is royalties on other stuff, like commercials, which
Mhm.
I've done that before. One of my songs in the past has got played on the WWE Diva thing, one of their episodes, and that was
Which
like a
one?
big
I'm
payday
curious.
for me. Oh my gosh, I forget what episode it is. I'll have to search my emails. I'll share it with you. We can bring it up sometime. But it was just like a commercial or one of their intros for one of their episodes, and that was like a nice unexpected payday. So that is the label going out of their way to put hustle for you. So we'll see. It's hard to tell. Like you never know what track will hit or like be a big festival trend for DJs to use, or.
Cool. And back to our guests, Brian, Surge, where can people find you on the internet and then in real life?
On the internet, as far as Twitch and Twitter, it's at DJ Brian Daze, spelling DAZE, just like it is on the screen. And then I guess hopefully you'll see me at a sports arena at some point soon.
I hope so, man.
For sure. Surge?
Sergio.
it's my turn.
Did you freeze?
No.
He's dead.
That was good. I was like, did we lose him? Dude, that was trippy.
It's DJ Surge across every platform, and Fireproof Friday, Saturday, and that's it. I mean, that's it for right now. BBR Sundays.
One of the longest running Sunday parties in the game right now.
Dude,
BBR.
yeah, I heard it's doing really well again too. It's crazy how many people go out on it. First of all, when I tell people that don't understand like my schedule or the DJ scene at all, and I'm like, and I talk about BBR Sunday, they're like, people go out on Sundays? It's like, yeah, a lot of people do.
Thank you guys for being here and sharing the tips, man. Like I said, tons of experience here. You guys see how much fun I'm having. I can barely stop asking questions. But if you are watching on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe for more content like this, as well as gear reviews, tutorials, all that stuff. And is that it? Oh, yeah. Tell us in the comments what we should have on next, what you guys want us to do, feedback, constructive, hopefully. And we'll see you next week, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I actually know the guest this week. So because we actually have a little schedule going on, Krept. I know we put this one together.
Pretty impressive, especially because like it's called the Columbus DJ Podcast, and in my head I'm like, how many other DJs are there? Like we
got a bunch.
There's so many, yeah.
We got Chang, who I mentioned earlier. He can talk about booking DJs as well as DJing, as well as being as part of like a DJ singer combo. So a lot of questions for him. And then we have Whitney Taylor-Ray, who'll be our second woman DJ guest. And
Nice.
She does cruise ships, has spun over in the Middle East, and spins here in Columbus as well. So a bunch of content and great stuff we can ask her as well. So everybody, I think that's it. Enjoy the rest of your nights. Thank you for being here. Peace. We out.
All right.
See you guys. See you.
Thank you.